welcome to the Lighten Up podcast with Lauren Polly, your invitation for living on the lighter side of life. I'm Lauren Polly, and I am delighted you have chosen to join me today for episode 230, Softening in Hard Times. Today we're going to talk about a little known trick, if you'd like to call it that, to make change easier. If you are currently in problem solving mode or fix it mode or create something new mode, and you're noticing a lot of tension, a lot of force, a lot of effort, a lot of just working harder than you need to, and in kind of in the process of that, making the thing you're trying to do harder to achieve, this may be a huge help for you. I don't know what it is about our patterning and why we learn this, but so many of us learn that if there's something to be changed, to be fixed, to be created, we've got to push really hard at it. Our mind gets super busy. It's almost like this all-encompassing thing, like a dog with a bone, where before you know it, it's just all-consuming. And with that, again, your mind will get tension built up. You may get a little bit stuck cognitively, but also your body gets super tight as well. And so often what occurs with that is we hold things so solid, so fixed, that we don't allow any breathing room around it. And the breathing room around it is really what allows it to naturally start to shift and change. The breathing room around it actually allows us to expand our perspective, so we can start seeing other possibilities, other workarounds, other things you can't see when you are, pigeonholed and look kind of with that dog with the bone energy again. It's really the opposite of what we're taught, though. We're taught that hard work, hard focus, sometimes a misidentification of presence as well. Like if I'm going to be present with this thing that I want to change, I have to only think about it, and I can't take my eye off of it. And with that, unfortunately, we laser focus so much of our energy, our mental resources, our body resources, our creative resources. And lo and behold, we get a bit stuck. So while we talk here, maybe just kind of draw up for yourself, what is it you've been looking to change? What is it you've been looking to create recently? What has been up for you? And when I say up for you, it's just the thing that's been top of mind. It's been top of attention. It's kind of been top of choices that you've been going at day to day. It's a fascinating thing. Look at that and look to see how much effort you've been using and where you may be getting a bit hard around that hard thing you're dealing with. Like in order to meet something that's a challenge, you have to then become hard to push your way through. This is an interesting exercise, and it's one I kind of challenge you, so to speak, to look at deeper and deeper. Every single time something comes up for you where you go to change, to choose, to heal, to fix, whatever, start to look at where the tension starts to come. Either the mental tension to continually stay quote unquote present with that thing, to hold it tight in your awareness, to not let it go, not turn a blind eye to it, got my eye on you kind of thing. And also where your body goes with tension too. Where does your breath become shallow? Where do your muscles tense up? Where do your relationships suffer because of all of that? And what in the long term is that actually creating? I was chatting with a friend of mine yesterday who is going through some tough stuff. She's been working her way through some deeper patterning for a long time, and some newer layers are revealing themselves. Also, she had a bit of a trauma last week, so the combination of the two triggered a little bit of a deeper reaction. And it was interesting because I noticed this pattern, which I notice so often in myself and also every client that I work with in my coaching business, where when something is really up for us, it is all consuming. And unfortunately, what occurs with that is we get really hard to try to deal with it. And through no fault of our own, of course, because it is something that's big, it's something we would like to change and shift, or sometimes a creation that pops and we really want to work to get it going. But it's a fascinating thing when you actually look at the energy of what is required to change that. And when you can actually start to soften around the quote unquote problem, when you can actually create more of a relaxation with that thing, and just do that now with whatever's up for you, if you can actually soften and create more relaxation around it, do you now have more room to expand? Can you allow yourself to expand out? Allow your mind to expand, your body to expand? I always like to kind of visualize myself standing in the middle of a forest, nose to nose with a tree that I've been kind of butting my head up against, like change, 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 change. And instead of doing that, which we all know doesn't create anything but a headache for yourself, yikes, if you can actually picture yourself coming out of that forest, standing up on a vista that overlooks the entire thing. So away from that individual tree that is causing you angst and the problem and the thing that you have to fix or create or change, come back out of that forest, stand up on that precipice and actually get the full view. How much more expansive are you? And it's really from the space of expansive mind, expansive body, expansive being that we're able to see more possibilities. And truly allow what is the natural way of things to start to change. Everything changes given enough time and enough space. Everything is moving. It's only when we come into this hard, harsh energy where we're pushing at something to fix or to change, when we're going through the hard times and we become hard in the process, that things become stuck and become chronic. I know this is strange. It may be the opposite of what you have heard or what you've done in the past. It's not that you don't go after what you desire. It's not that you go, okay, I guess this is just a thing that's going to be with me forever. It's not an acquiescence to anything. This is just softening into it to allow that breathing room to occur. And with that, your creative juices hopefully will start flowing. I want to loop back a little bit to this conversation on presence and this misidentification that a lot of people have, where in order to be present with something because that's what's going to change it or that's what's going to create it, they focus all of their resources hard on it. We almost go into hypervigilance sometimes, where no matter what, I don't want to take my eye off of it. It becomes all-consuming, and before you know it, you get a bit myopic. It is the only thing that lives in your awareness, that lives in your mind's eye, that lives in all of your choices, that just one thing. When really presence is so incredibly different. Presence actually has a softness to it. It has a relaxation. It has a space and a great deal, again, of breathing room, like we've been talking about. What if presence wasn't being laser focused on the one thing that had to shift and change, but instead was a softening and an expansion so that you could be present and aware of everything you could possibly be aware of? It's like a horse in the middle of a pasture. He's not just looking at the one thing ahead of him. His zone of awareness, his space that he's willing to take information in is actually massive. For miles and miles and miles around, he's aware of the sounds. He's aware of the other rustling going on, the other bodies nearby. You know, horses are prey animals. That's kind of what they do. They have to be aware of their surroundings. That was more of an evolutionary protection thing. But if you've ever been around a horse or any animal, you can see that. They actually have a great zone that they're aware of. What if it was more like that? What if instead of laser focusing and really only being present with the thing you want to change, getting hard focused on it, getting tense around it and pushing at it, you could again soften, relax, and allow that zone to open. What occurs with this is you actually start to become present with everything. And again, we talked before, where do these possibilities come? Where do these creative juices come from? Where does this natural change and movement come from? It comes from more space. It comes from an expanded viewpoint. And sometimes it comes just from relaxing into the allowance of the situation. Whenever you're judging something that you've created, whenever you are shaking your finger internally at yourself, like, oh, I should have seen that coming, or wow, I really messed up there. Whenever you are doing that, you are in judgment, and there is no harsher energy. There's also no more contracting energy, more hardening energy than judgment. If you allow yourself to open and go, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to judge myself with this. Interesting choice I made. Cool. It's not a done deal. What else is possible here? And you allow yourself just to soften into the allowance of the situation you've created. That situation that is arising and is like butting up against you. Immediately you'll soften. That harshness and those jutting edges that may be cutting you will actually start to soften as well. And with that, this breathing room around your quote-unquote problem will start to expand. And your awareness of things that you could actually do, actions to choose, awarenesses you may not have had before, to maybe not find yourself in the same situation in the future, will start to flourish. Hardening around something, being hard through the hard parts of life, never creates. It just locks you up. It locks you in that situation, and it locks you into a lot of tension and harder work than needed. Instead, I know it feels strange and I know it can feel uncomfortable. It does for me too, but if you allow yourself to soften, take a beat, take a breath, don't run away from it. Don't acquiesce to it, but just be with it and see what starts to shift and change. As you move through this week, as things pop up for you, notice your natural tendency to push, to effort, to fight, or maybe to flee, depending on how you've been kind of programmed thus far. And start to instead challenge yourself to be with it, be present with it in a way that includes space, relaxation, and non-judgment. And imagine yourself backing away from the problem, going up into more space, getting a bird's eye view of it. And what are you aware of on each side, on underneath, on over top, where you could start to choose something different? This is a way to start maneuvering through your life with more ease, not butting up against problem after problem and hurdle after hurdle, but seeing the bigger picture, the broader landscape, and having more choices as you move through. It's highly creative, and it's also extremely, extremely relaxing. We all go through hard things in life. That's just the way life is. But you actually having softness as you move through those hard spots will give you a lot more space and a lot more ease as you navigate through. It'll also give you more awareness as you move forward to maybe navigate around the hard spots before they really become intense. This is a muscle to be practiced and a muscle to be developed. Let me know how it goes. As always, you can reach me at lauren@laurenpoly.com. If you'd like some more one-to-one help with this, you can reach out for a complimentary strategy session with me. I'll put the link down below. Have an amazing week, and as always, I will chat with you next Tuesday.